See if we can add CJ right here. Good morning, CJ. How you doing?
Good
See if
morning.
I can
How
get
are
you.
you?
I'm good.
Good.
What are you not doing?
I'm not sleeping.
How do you know that?
Is that a trick question?
No, how do you know you're not sleeping?
I am speaking and I don't normally speak in my sleep. So there you go.
Okay, okay. You're looking beautiful. You
Thank you.
dressed up. You dressed up for the first time.
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Be safe and don't answer questions like that.
Exactly.
Okay. So, tell us what you've got in store for the listeners this morning.
This morning, I've
Uh
got
huh.
a good friend of mine. Her name is Patricia Tuff, aka Pat. She is a nutritionist, a wellness coach, and she specializes in gut health. Um, she's also trained in aromatherapy, helping others to use essential oils for therapeutic benefits, as well as help her clients to choose good supplements to restore their gut health. So we are going to talk about gut health this morning. A lot of us don't know anything about leaky gut, but whatever she's going to tell us this morning, we're going to get a light bulb is going to go up in a lot of us head, and it's for both men and women.
So, what
So,
does your gut have to do with your mental health?
oh,
This is
listen,
Mental Health Tuesday.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you're sick,
I don't know.
then mentally it's going to hamper you to do whatever it is that you have to do. But I won't let the cat out of the bag yet. Let Pat explain to us what leaky gut can do to our mental health.
When's the last time you saw Pat?
Uh, Pat, maybe about 3 years ago, but we speak to each other all the time. Hey, Pat.
Good morning, Claire. How are you
Good
doing
morning.
today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good.
Listen now, what happened? You dropped in the fountain of youth or something?
Well,
You
what
got
can I tell
younger.
you? I'm aging backwards.
Oh, there you go. Well, good to have you on.
Thank you, Clara. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Good. So my listeners are going to be, I think, and your listeners are going to be listening to what you have to say this morning. So we're going to talk about healing of our guts. And
Right.
I know it says how good quality, healing our guts means that there is good quality supplements like antioxidants and essential oils, which can help restore your gut. We also can share information about simple habits that you can put into practice right away to help restore our gut health. So let's go. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you have.
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk a little bit about gut imbalance. But before I continue, I must tell you that everything I'm going to tell you today is not trial and error. I know this because I've applied all these things to my own health. And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, it's made the world a difference. Because I've been able to help myself, I can now help others. So let's talk about gut imbalance. Gut imbalance can cause all kinds of illnesses. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said it best when he says, disease begins in the gut. Now, our intestinal tract forms a defensive barrier from what we ingest, what we take in, what we eat, and it prevents harmful substances from reaching the bloodstream. Now, if this barrier is compromised or leaky or has holes in it, then these harmful substances can get past, and that causes inflammation.
So
So,
are you
sorry, go ahead.
referring to, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this is a really important thing to think about, because when we have inflammation, then we get different illnesses or diseases.
Hmm. So does that refer to the problem that most people call leaky gut?
That is what they call it, Claire. And we know that if this barrier is compromised or leaky, those harmful substances, as I mentioned, can get past. Then we have a cascade of inflammation that can cause all kinds of illnesses. But first, let's talk about the body's burden and how toxins can affect our body and our gut over time. For example, we could think about when a baby's born. You would think that as a newborn infant, that they would be free of any toxins. Well, that may have been the case at one time, But now studies are telling us that the average baby is born with 287 chemicals in their body at birth.
Wow.
And these chemicals are passed down from the mother. So this is a really important point because we start out with a lot of chemicals. So when you think about it, over time, as we're aging, growing, toxins are building up in our bodies slowly but surely, and we're exposed to more and more of them. So we could think about it like a bucket filling up with water. In this case, it's the body filling up with toxins. Sooner or later, it's going to overflow, and that's what happens to us. Our bodies just can't handle this level of toxins. So when this happens, we have to focus on detoxifying the body. We need to use proper methods of detoxification so that we can get rid of all these toxins, or at least lower the amounts that we're exposed to. Now, I know we have our kidneys and our liver and our different detoxifying organs. We're born with those, and so they should be able to detoxify our body. But the level of toxins that we're exposed to, we can't get rid of them all. The body just has a difficult time coping with it. Now, studies have shown that if we lower the load of toxins that our bodies are exposed to, disease conditions decrease dramatically.
So you're saying eliminating toxins should be a priority for us all?
Absolutely. Everyone should focus on getting rid of toxins. We need to find ways to do this, and it's so important because if we don't decrease the level of toxins in our body, then we're setting ourselves up for all kinds of issues. So there are practical ways that we can do this, Claire. We can use antioxidants, essential oils, supplements. Those things can help in a big way. But, first of all, we need to talk about nutrition and digestion. It's hard to say that word.
I hear you.
Our food has changed dramatically. We've departed from the ways that we're supposed to eat. We don't eat natural things anymore. Most of the foods that we consume are made in a factory. So that's not really a good way to eat. And you know what? We're paying the price for that. Our society is busier than ever. So we end up doing things like eating packaged foods, processed foods, or fast foods from a takeout place because we just don't have the time. Unfortunately, though, that takes a toll on our gut. And then again, we have substances that have been added to our food, like pesticides. They have a tremendous amount of pesticides on the foods we eat today. Then we have GMOs, which is genetically modified organisms. Really, you know what? It's become more about profitability than it is about health.
Quite true.
So what do we have to do? There are things that we can do. We have to make better choices. So how do we do that? We eat a more balanced diet. One that is richer in vegetables and fruit, things that come from nature. And we know that if we're eating better food, that we can provide what we need, the good bacteria that will help our gut and give us a healthy digestive system. Claire, when you think about processed foods, they contain a lot of sugar, fat, salt, and in addition, when they're processed in a factory, they lose some of the original nutrients that the food had in them. Here's an important point too, Claire, which is why we're talking about mental health today in relationship to the gut. If we focus on restoring our gut health, we can help support our brain.
Are you saying that having a healthy gut can contribute to better mental health?
Absolutely. This really helps us to see why it's so important to keep our gut in good working order. Now, science refers to the gut-brain axis, the two-way connection that we have from the gut to the brain. And research has shown that the gut can directly influence our brain function and our behavior. To explain this a bit further, Claire, science talks about the gut-brain axis, or the two-way connection and communication between the gut and the brain. The gut and the brain are connected through the largest organ we have in our body. It's called the vagus nerve. And this nerve allows the brain to communicate with the gut. It represents the main component of the parasympathetic nervous system, which oversees a vast variety of crucial bodily functions, including the control of mood, immune response, digestion, and heart rate. It establishes one of the connections between the brain and the gastrointestinal tract, and it sends information from the state of the inner organs to the brain. That's pretty amazing information, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is.
So I just want to quote a study that was done by Harvard Health Publishing, and it says in this article, the gut-brain connection. The gut-brain connection is no joke. It can link anxiety to stomach problems and vice versa. Do certain conditions make you feel nauseous? Have you felt butterflies in your stomach? We use these expressions for a reason. The gastrointestinal tract is sensitive to emotion, anger, anxious feelings, sadness, elations. All of these feelings and others can trigger symptoms in the gut. So we can see that the brain has a direct effect on the stomach and the intestines. Mm-hmm. A troubled intestine can send signals to the brain, just as a troubled brain can send signals to the gut. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, the connection.
Yeah. So a person's stomach or intestinal distress can be caused or be the product of anxious feelings or stress or depression. That's because the brain and the gastrointestinal system, the GI tract, are intimately connected. So Claire, given how closely the gut and the brain interact, it becomes easier to understand why you might feel nauseated before giving a presentation like I did earlier, or feel intestinal pain during the time of stress. So we know that when the gut lining is healthy and working the way it should, when it acts as a barrier so that foreign and toxic organisms, bacteria, fungi, viruses, undigested food particles, when it can stop those foreign invaders, then we have better health. Mm. Now, if this barrier is weak, it allows these substances to get into the circulatory system, and those that can travel body-wise. And you know what, Claire? This triggers a strong immune cell response. And inflammation develops. The immune system now tries to neutralize, kill, or digest what's entered into the bloodstream. And it's like a battle inside your body. So you can imagine what's going on in there. Now, inflammation can become chronic and affect every organ in the body, including the brain. So we can get brain fog, cognitive slowdown, skin rashes, joint inflammation, bloating, diarrhea, or constipation, and that's just a partial list. So you can see how restoring our gut health is really, really important. But the good news is it's not as complex as it used to be, because we can give our bodies the help it needs with natural products and lifestyle changes that can help to restore the gut imbalance.
So here's a question. What other things can we use to affect the gut in a bad way?
Well, one thing I can think of is food sensitivities. That's another thing that causes problems with your gut. A lot of times people don't think they're sensitive to any foods because they don't have symptoms right away. We could feel it immediately, but sometimes there's a 72-hour delay so that we may eat a specific food and then we don't feel it right away. But after 72 hours, we may feel tired, we may have tension, or, just plain feeling upset or guts upset. So these could be linked to food sensitivity. So when someone comes to me with that kind of issue, I recommend that they do a 30-day food sensitivity elimination diet, just to see if a potential food could be causing some of their health issues, even if it's only a minor health issue. Makes sense, right?
A whole lot of sense.
So, something else that I recommend too is for them to keep a food diary, because we forget what we eat from one day to the next. Because if I asked you what you ate last Monday, you probably go, I don't know.
I wouldn't.
Exactly. So when you keep a food diary, you can keep track of what you've been eating, and then you can know for sure, what you ate 72 hours ago, if it's causing the effect that you're having with your gut and with the way that your gut feels.
Mm-hmm.
Another way that we can support our gut care is by eating organic or growing our own food. So that way we're able to limit the amount of pesticides and antibiotics in the foods that we're exposed to. If we're growing our own or buying organic, then we can limit that, and it will help our body to function better. And we can also get rid of some of those toxins a little bit easier.
Okay, so Pat, knowing all of this, what you just said, what in a practical way can we do to heal the gut?
Well, what I recommend to my clients is the 4 R's.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about that before.
I heard of 2, but what are the other 2?
Well, the 4 R's consist of this. The first R, we would remove the foods that commonly stress the digestive system. So things like sugar, dairy, gluten, grains, processed foods, like we mentioned before. Mm-hmm. We would also want to make an effort to reduce or remove things like personal care products and household products that contain toxins, maybe swapping them out for things that are non-toxic. Mm-hmm. Sometimes something as simple as what we put our food in, like plastic containers.
Right.
The plastic can leach into the food, and that can cause all kinds of issues. So we may want to swap that out for a non-toxic version like glass. So that's the first R. The second R is to replace with healers. So we want to go back to the basics, eating more vegetables and fruits, drinking more water, thinking about digestive enzymes, which will help us better absorb the nutrients that are actually in the food. Mm-hmm. And then the third R is to reinoculate. That means we would be eating more probiotic-rich foods like sauerkraut, raw cultured vegetables, coconut kefir, kimchi. Another great idea would include a probiotic supplement, a good quality one. This will ensure a good balance of good bacteria to bad, which is optimal for healthy gut microbiome. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth R would be to rest and restore the gut. So what do we mean by this? We would eat more simply to support the digestive the digestion by allowing adequate times between meals, eating simply, choosing recipes that only have a few ingredients, ingredients that are as close to their natural state as possible, and also cooked very simply. This will help to ease the digestion. So things like purees, smoothies, blended soups, gently cooked food, it's often things that will help to get our gut in good working order. So part of supporting our health is also understanding, Claire, that anything we put in our mouth has to be broken down and processed.
Okay.
So
you mentioned using supplements like oils and so on to help heal the gut. Anything in particular in any of those supplements?
Well, I'll tell you what I use because these are things that have worked for me. Mm-hmm. So with regard to oils, I used, with regard to enzymes to break down the food, I used Terrazyme, which I can't say enough about this product. It's this one here. It's called Terrazyme. It's a doTERRA product. And if we're having difficulty with our digestive system, then we have to be able to take this in order to get the nutrients out of the foods that we're eating. Even if we're eating a lot of really good food, it's really useless to us if we can't get the nutrients out of the food. And if we're eating a lot of processed foods or heating our foods to high levels, this can cause the enzymes in our foods to become absolutely useless. So, when you say we are what we eat, it's not really what we eat, it's what we absorb that's important. We may be eating all the healthy food that we could possibly buy or cook or grow, but if we're not properly absorbing the nutrients, then it's really not doing us a lot of good. That's where the enzymes come into play, because it's going to break down the protein and the fat and the carbohydrates so that we can actually absorb those good nutrients that we want in order to have a healthier gut.
Okay.
I also recommend my clients take 3 capsules of this each and every meal, because if you're having gut issues, you need that in order to get to the proper place. Another great supplement that I use is called PB Assist. And what this one does is it helps to repopulate the good bacteria in your gut, because often when you have gut inflammation, it's because you have too much of the bad bacteria. So you have to be able to top it up, if you will, so that you can have a good level of good to bad. Mm-hmm. So it really helps to use those things in order to protect your gut. Now, another powerful product that I've been using is called Glutathione. This has been a game changer for me, and this is what it looks like. It's called NutraSwitch. Mm-hmm. And it plays a role in preventing the leaking, or what's called intestinal permeability.
Okay. I am going to try to say that word. Glutathione, is it?
Perfect.
What is that?
Well, glutathione is an antioxidant, a molecule composed of 3 amino acids, so L-cysteine, L-glutamic acid, and glycine. When we think of antioxidants, Claire, we may think of vitamin C and vitamin E. Unlike vitamin C and E, glutathione is found naturally in every cell in our body, and it's made in our body, specifically in the liver.
Really? Okay.
It's referred to as the master antioxidant. And without this in our bodies, we would actually die. However, as we age or get sick, our glutathione levels become depleted. So this can be a real game changer for good gut health. So it's important to boost the levels when restoring health and in restoring our gut health and reversing autoimmunity. I could talk about glutathione forever, but we'll have to do that for another time.
I got you. But this is very interesting. Are there essential oils that can help as well?
Absolutely. There's 3 oils that I'm going to talk about today for digestive health. There's Digest Zen, which is this one. It's called Zengest in the States, but Digest Zen in Canada. Mm-hmm. And and then there's ginger, which is this one here, and fennel. So these are oils that will help a lot with your digestive issues. And there's others that I could talk about, like cardamom and frankincense, but I just want to highlight those 3 today. Most of my clients already use Digest Zen, and we use it frequently. But I have to highlight it because it's such a powerhouse. It's a blend of different essential oils. And sure, ginger and fennel essential oils are found in this blend, but it also has anise and caraway and tarragon. So it's just a really great blend to support our digestive system and help us, just to digest things better. And it's also very soothing to the digestive tract. So then there's the fennel and the other one is, ginger. They're going to help us soothe the digestive tract and help support gut health. It just helps everything to function better. So you can see, Claire, that good gut health affects our entire body, not just our gut, but our brain and every organ in the body. So getting the help we need to have better health, better gut health, is really worth the effort. So I just want to review what we've talked about today, because I think it's super important for people to understand how important the gut and the brain are linked. gut health can keep us healthier overall. And there's a lot that we can do to help with that. So we've discussed the 4 R's, things you can try right away to help you have better health. We talked about how probiotics can help the bacterial levels in our gut, help it to be more constant, not too much bad, not too much good, but at a good level. And then we talked about digestive enzymes that help us use the food in a better way. We also talked about glutathione, which is the master antioxidant that can restore the lining of our gut. Then we talked about fennel. Those are oils that can help us digest sen, ginger, essential oil, all great ways to help to support our gut health. So really, really important things that we can put into practice right away to help us feel better, look better, and just have overall better health.
So are you telling me that you're looking that way because of the oils and the enzymes and everything that you're using? Because let me tell you, I want to get there too.
Well, you know what? Here's how you can get a hold of me. You can find me.
I know how to, yes.
Well, your listeners can find me at my email address is pat@patduffs.ca, or you can find me on Facebook. I have a group called Committed to Staying Healthy. It's a group of like-minded people who are all about getting and staying healthy and just doing things in a better way so that you can look better, you can feel better, and just have a better day.
Yeah. You know the thing, Zengest, I have that oil. I do. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it is good because sometimes, like you say, what we eat, sometimes I eat something that I'm not supposed to, and it bothers my stomach. I take a little drop, stick it in stick my thumb in my top of my gum, and I just let it there. And it's in a few seconds, my stomach is back to its normal. And so I am saying that Zengest is really, really good.
Yeah. You know how I take it? I put it in I get a shot glass, not rubbing it.
People go think it's horrible, noisy.
And I put I fill it half with water, and I put 4 drops in the shot glass, and I just chug it down. It's amazing how quickly that it'll work.
It does. It does.
You know, it's a pretty strong oil, so sometimes taking it that way would be better. Then you don't have to taste it as much, you know, but it still does the job.
It does. Another thing that I got, Pat, from you, so let me see if I could say that word. Your names are really hard to Copaiba. Let me tell you something about it. It's not to do with your gut, but you know, I go to bed every night to go to sleep, and like 2 times out of 3, Charlie and his horse visits me. I don't know the name of Charlie's horse, to be quite honest, but Charlie and his horse visit me in bed. And that bottle with that, I have it like it's in my room there because it stays on my bed. I just tip the bottle over. There's a roller thing on it, and I roll it on the pain where my cramps are. Massage that in a few seconds. Charlie and his horse is gone, and I am back. So there are oils out there that can really, really help you to get. So people, what she's saying is no joke because I use some of her oils, and they are good.
They're like magic in a bottle, right?
It is. So if you want to get in touch with Pat, she gave her email address and she says she's on Facebook. But hey, I am here. You can get to her through me also because...
Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you so very much for taking accepting my invite to talk about gut health, because a lot of us walk around not knowing that what is going on with us, because sometimes we eat stuff and we say, oh, my stomach is so bloated. We have no idea what's going on, but at least you let us know a lot of things that we are doing that is wrong. Well, not wrong per se, but we are doing that is going to help us to do better in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you really for coming.
Our time, and thanks to your listeners for tuning in as well.
Well, hopefully I'll get you not too much in the distant future, because I know we have more to talk about.
Well, I'm sure we do.
Take care now.
Take care, Claire. Bye.
Later. Okay, bye-bye. So everyone, this was Pat Tuff from my neck of the woods. I guess you all know that I'm back in Canada, living in Toronto. Pat is living in Copetown. It's a distance to get to her, but as you see, what the going viral can do here. We're on the system and everybody can listen to one another way back in Australia, in New Zealand, wherever it is that we can speak to each other. And I'm really happy that she came, and hopefully some things that she said about what we can do to protect ourselves from having leaky gut is going to help us to eat better. She talks about eating fruits and vegetables, a whole lot of it. So going back to basic, because I'm telling you, it is going to be helping you a whole lot. So we had Pat for 7 to 8. I'm not sure if my other guest is there. If you are there, let me know. We're going to continue talking. Maybe we should take a commercial break and then we'll be right back.
M&M Hardware Limited, Hope St. Andrew and Dusty Highway, St. George. Shop conveniently for all your building materials, including plumbing, electrical, lumber, cement, steel, and much more. We manufacture roofing sheets available in 11 colors, aluminum windows, doors, insect screens, and hurricane shutters. Installation services are available for all our manufactured products. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. M&M Hardware Limited. Come on in and experience our affordable prices, or call us 444-6757 or 440